Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Welcome, everybody. We'd also like to welcome the co-hosts of Josie and Jamar on Toronto's Chum 104.5. Jamar McNeil is back with us today. And Jamar, not just because you're a male here at the panel, you're representing. We got a lot of testosterone in the audience today. Yes.
I could smell it. Smoker guys.
Exactly. I love how you just started flexing. Well, we're going to flex a little bit here off the top of the show because we would like to start by congratulating all of our colleagues here at Bell Media Studios because E-Talk, The Good Stuff, and our entire team here at The Social, we're all nominated for Canadian Screen Awards.
Congrats.
All those shows I just mentioned, we are nominated in the Best Talk or Entertainment News Series. And a big shout out to our director. There's a lot of faces you don't see who are here part of the show. So in the control room downstairs, our own director, Jillian Parker, is nominated for our Earth Day special. So shout out to Jillian! Wow, yeah, some of that. And by the way, she's one of the few female directors in this business, so we love that. We love that. And I would like to say a lovely shout out to my lovely co-host because we are nominated for Best Host, Talk Show, or Entertainment TV. So congrats. Congrats.
Nicely done.
All right, everybody. In total, Bell Media received over 200 nominations.
Wow.
So shout out to the entire building, up, down, and sideways, everybody.
Yeah, nice way to start off the show. All right, so let's keep things going. First up today, Ben Affleck has opened up about his failed 2-year marriage to Jennifer Lopez. Ben told GQ that they were fundamental differences between them and their approach to celebrity life, but there's no scandal, no soap opera, no intrigue, and the truth is much more quotidian, which I've never read that word before, than probably people would believe. So, do celebrity couples owe us an explanation when they call it quits?
Listen, I agree with some of you. I think generally speaking, celebrities do not owe us anything. But I think if you're in a documentary that's called The Greatest Love Story Never Told, maybe you kind of owe us something.
I mean, it's literally like saying, look at me, and then say, hey, nothing to see here.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's not really, it doesn't add up. And, you know, I think Ben really admitted that one of the conflicts was that he's a lot more private than she is. That probably got to him. He's not perfect. I think the way he approached the whole thing with the quote, I mean, he obviously has gone to therapy. And goes, you know,
think so?
Yeah, it's not like, I don't even know what that word is, but
yeah, that's not a Boston word.
I think Ben Affleck, rather than airing the dirty laundry, he took the shirts, folded them nicely, and just said, here, this is it, and put it in a drawer and said, let's put it to rest.
Right. Okay, but I want to hear from the person who never believed in this relationship, one Melissa Grelo.
Correct. I never was a fan of them the first time, and I certainly was not a fan of them the second time, because I saw this coming. Who didn't see it coming?
Yeah.
You cannot be like, I love him so much, and then not think it's going to go down in a ball of flames. And boy, did it go down in a ball of flames. So here's what it is. I think we all know he doesn't like the press. He doesn't like the media. He always had resting Ben face, which was awful. He just didn't want to be there, and J.Lo is like, look at me, look at me, look at me. So we knew that was going to always be a problem, and he never got over it.
Everybody knew that except for Ben, seemingly.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he already went through this the first time around.
He did. I think maybe he thought love would overcome it the second time, but bro, the issues are the same. The issues are the same.
Well, the people are the same, right?
And the people are the same. But I think for me, and why he's talking about it now, because he's private. Why is he even talking about J.Lo? Because he has a movie to promote. And I'm gonna tell you something, checkmate to you, Ben, because he's coming out with a movie that nobody asked for, Accountant 2. The Accountant. Did anybody watch The Accountant 1?
Nope.
Why are you talking about The Accountant 2? So here's the thing. When you are a celebrity of any celebrity, the deal you make with the devil when you get into Hollywood is, I have to promote something. And the only way I'm going to get you, my fans, to come out and see my stuff is if I give you a little something. What's little something? Private information. So his love, if you are a celebrity, my love to you as a fan is disclosure. And my love to you, if I'm a fan of yours, Ben, is I'll go and support your movies. He has to talk about J.Lo because he's promoting The Accountant 2. And bravo, we're talking about The Accountant 2 that nobody asked for.
You know what's interesting? I love all of these theories, and you just mentioned something very interesting, that he feels he has to give us something, and what I'd like to do is just hand it back to him and be like, I'm sick and tired of hearing about you in this damn girl. I feel like, you know, that friend in the group who's constantly talking about their ex? They always find a way to weave their name into the conversation. I feel like that's Ben and Jen for me right now, and we need to elect a friend to say, listen, we're done, we're over, the ink is dry on the divorce papers, the house has been sold, we lived through the first time, the second time, and the movie. Please, let's put this puppy to bed. Nobody cares. Movie to sell or not, tell us something else. Boxers or briefs, I don't care. Talk about anything else. I'm done hearing about this relationship, and I think it's the best thing for both of them, for everybody to just move on. So I appreciate the GQ interview. We've heard, and we're good now. So let's move on, including to this next topic.
Yes, it's true. Okay, everybody, something that's going around online. Have any of you heard of the airport theory? The airport theory, you heard about this on TikTok? Okay, so it is viral everywhere on TikTok. So this is a trend where people, they challenge the traditional arrive 2 hours before your flight, you know that whole rule? And this is what they do instead. They get to the airport 15 to 20 minutes before takeoff. Okay, Jamar, would you try the airport theory?
Have I tried? Yes, many times.
Oh, how's that work? What, are you the pilot?
No. Anyone who flies very regularly, I'm talking about like once a month, knows that you can do this, especially if you have like certain conditions like midweek, midday, regional airport, no check bags. You literally just breeze through security.
Okay.
It's so simple.
You've never had like anything
never missed a flight?
I mean, I've missed flights. I mean, I've missed flights, but like this can be done. And I think a lot of the larger airports, like a Pearson, where you got like a large family, all these bags, tons of people at security, a Friday flight, you can't do this, but it can be done. People do it all the time.
Wow. Anybody?
Listen, this is grounds for divorce. I know you're married. God bless your wife, because I don't have the patience for that. I am arrived 2 to 3 hours early. I'd like to thank my parents for instilling that in me. I paid too much money to be missing flights, Mr. Moneybags over here. I miss flights. I can't afford to miss flights, so I'm there early. But I'll give you a funny story. This past December, I had a connecting flight from Miami back to Toronto.
Okay.
And I'm always early. This is what I do. I get in there at least 2.5 hours early. I put my eyes on the gate. I need to go. They have the gate on the ticket. I need to see it. And I go, okay. And then I find the closest restaurant to that gate. And then I sit down, have a meal, and I relax until it's time to get on the flight, right? Sounds nice and normal. Yeah. Well, this time things went hairy. During my meal, as I'm sitting there all relaxed, thinking I'm so on top of this, they changed my gate 4 times.
No. How dare they?
So I go around the corner, I'm feeling so good about myself that I'm on time, and then I see that my gate's changed, and they've moved my gate to the other side of the airport. And as I'm hustling, I start to hear, passenger Andrea Bain, searching for Andrea Bain. My cell phone's ringing, and I am sprinting now through this airport. My left arm starts tingling. I'm like, I'm either gonna stroke out or I'm gonna make this flight.
Oh my God.
They are calling, they are looking for me. I get there in the nick of time. I'm the last person to get on the flight. I am dripping in my own sweat, and I thought to myself, I got here 2.5 hours early.
Yeah, it wasn't your fault.
How did we end up in this situation?
And guess what, Andrea? 15 minutes before your flight, 1 gate change.
You know what? I want to hear that.
Those 3 gate changes turn into 1 gate change.
No, here's the deal. The long lineups beforehand, I've seen some lineups that I'm like, if I got here 15 minutes before, just lineup alone, I would miss my flight. I will always be
like
there.
I said,
now, 5 hours early.
Don't do this with your partner. Don't do this with your family. Make sure you have Nexus, all those things. But it can be done.
I mean, I've had trauma. Like, I had a story that I will not tell you the whole thing of when I was traveling for work one time, and I got pulled aside by American security, and I missed my flight. It was so traumatizing. I will not go through that again. So I'm in very early, but I'm in a partnership with someone who is a 15 minutes beforehand one. So let me tell you, this is a tricky thing, but if anyone is in that kind of relationship, and I feel like a lot of people in that kind of dynamic, one's early, one's late, I ended up doing this the last time. We traveled together. He booked the flight. He decided when we were leaving. I did not know when our flight left so that I could just relax. I was like, okay, if we miss this, it is on you, and I will never let you live it down.
Right.
But I didn't stress myself out. I was just like, everything is in your hands. And I was much more relaxed as a result. We made it on time. I don't know how much time we had actually to spare. It was all fine.
Wow.
Hand over the control, Mel. You could never do that.
Could never do it.
Never could do it.
Nope, control freak over here.
Okay, so do you want to see more older men starring in romantic comedies? Well, George Clooney told 60 Minutes that at 63 years old, he actually doesn't want to be competing with 25-year-old leading men, so he's no longer doing rom-coms. So I feel like some people are interested in seeing older men, but maybe not just George Clooney or something like that. But what do we think about older men in rom-coms?
I mean, they're lying. You don't want to see older men in rom-coms because they would be making more older men rom-coms if you did. Like,
You don't think there's enough of them?
I think George Clooney and his agents and his team, they see the data and they just know that these scripts aren't coming out. You know, these roles aren't being written. I mean, maybe someday they will. I mean, think of it from a TV perspective. We just recently got a Golden Bachelor. And how many seasons is that show?
2,000 seasons of this.
Exactly. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to see George Clooney. I love George Clooney. You know, everything he's done except Batman. But you know, George Clooney knows he's reading the writing in the room, and he's saying, you know, these roles are just not coming in for me. Like, I'm going to do something else where there's more demand for what I have to offer. That's Broadway.
Do you think it has anything to do with his old persona? Remember back in the day, he was known as a perpetual bachelor. He would actually tell reporters, "I'm never getting married," and he was always dating his co-stars or some cocktail waitress in Vegas. Remember those days? Yeah. And then he got serious and he got married to a Amal who's an international human rights lawyer. And I think maybe, I'm just spitballing here, George, stay with me, that maybe he wants to be seen as a more serious actor. And a lot of serious actors like the Denzels, they don't do rom-coms because it's kind of seen as fluff. And he wants to be seen as a serious actor. Right now he's on Broadway.
I couldn't agree more.
Right? And that's what he wants to see. He wants to be taken seriously. And if he's taking off his shirt trying to make love to a girl who's half his age, because that's how Hollywood likes to cast those women, right? And those couples. Maybe he just wants to change that and be like, I'm no longer that guy.
Oh my God, Andrea, you know what you just did? You just wrote the screenplay for his next rom-com. That is a perfect screenplay for a rom-com.
Don't you think? By the way.
Yeah, exactly.
And my nomination.
Yes.
Yeah,
it would be.
I think for me, when I think of him saying that, I think that's probably exactly why he's decided he doesn't want to. I think in general, the reason why the Golden Bachelor exists now and it didn't 20 years ago is because there is actually a growing demand. People like me who want to say, you know what, we should be normalizing the fact that you're not done at 60. You might not even be done at 70. Let's normalize seeing older people fall in love. Let's normalize them having sex because they're doing it. They're doing it. And let's normalize the fact that there can still be ambition and hustle, that life does not end. It actually only gets better till the last breath you take. So for me, whatever that looks like, I'm for it. And I would, P.S., Idris Elba, if you're watching, please do some rom-coms. Shirt off.
Watch that too.
I would pay for that.
I mean, there's an interesting shift when I was thinking more and more about this, which is that we see less and less sort of real-looking people of any age in rom-coms. I think there's been a shift. When I think about when we were growing up, what was it? Like the big rom-coms, When Harry Met Sally. Billy Crystal is not a particularly like hot guy. He never was. You had Tom Hanks in a bunch of rom-coms. Again, not necessarily that like, you know,
Hunky.
shirt off kind of vibe.
What you have to be now,
and what you have to be now,
wildly different from that.
So
blame that on Matthew McConaughey. Matthew McConaughey, he changed that whole game, baby.
The only thing I do like about this is that it sounds to me like George Clooney is thinking about the way he appears to the world, which is something that traditionally is just something that women have talked about and stressed about. So for that tiny reason, I feel like it's a bit of an equalizing moment that I don't know. Is it a small win for feminism that now everyone's kind of...
maybe.
I don't know.
We'll take it. But I still want to see him with his shirt off. Like, I'm cool with that. I don't know about you. Let's move on to our next topic. Jimmy Kimmel called out Pedro Pascal on his now viral coffee order. All right, so we want everyone watching at home, yes, you, and in studio, to weigh in on this. Scan the QR code on the screen and let us know, do you judge someone for their coffee order? Be honest. Jamar, you're our guest. I'm going to throw to you. Do you judge someone?
Not only do I judge someone on their coffee order, I judge all coffee drinkers in general. I'm not a coffee drinker.
What do you mean?
Oh my gosh, it's the only drug where people like write their addiction on their mug. Like, it's crazy. Like, I just think that the fact that so many people on the planet are addicted to caffeine and we're not really having a conversation about it is a little dystopian. For me, But, you know, that's just me. Nothing to see here, right?
You used to do the early morning shift. That means that you were up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. What were you drinking so that you could, like, open your mouth and talk to people on air?
Water?
Water?
I mean, orange juice, you know? We should not have to be dependent on a substance, and the fact that we are is a little weird, right?
Well,
like
one a day. What? I mean, I subscribe to one a day. If that calls me an addict, I don't know. I guess like guilty as charged. I feel like I judge that kind of an order. That one maybe not as bad as the ones that are the complicated, very individualized ones with the half mocha, sweet.
No
frothy,
foam,
no foam, whatever.
110
like that,
degrees.
To me, is like a personification of sort of Americana in the way of like everything has to be super hyper individualized, and you need to make it for me. If you went to Europe and you asked for half of the coffee orders,
they'd be like, "What is this?"
They would laugh you out the room.
What are you doing? And like 6 espressos for Pedro? That's not a coffee order. That's a cry for help. That's
exactly what I thought.
A problem, right?
I literally was like, he needs to go see a sleep therapist.
Yes.
I mean, I thought maybe he's been on set and he hasn't slept for days because they're on set early, long days. But if that's a regular order, that is what, 6 shots of espresso?
That's wild.
Bro, you need to go see a cardiologist.
100%.
It's not going to end well for you.
It's within the normal range, apparently, according to the American Health Association.
Normal range of what?
Well, just like what you can consume in a day and be healthy. That's what I
An
think.
individual
one
or a
shot?
group of people?
I don't. No, it's one. It's
Okay, we're judging him, but you know, I don't generally judge because I am a 1 coffee a day drinker too, but if I'm standing in a store, big box store, and I see someone order and it is basically a dessert, okay, I'm judging you. That is not coffee. That is a milkshake with a splash of coffee.
100%.
Because it's got sugar, whipped cream, it's got sprinkles, it's probably called unicorn swirl. And I'm like, don't delude yourself. That is not a coffee. That is dessert, and it's probably 1,000 calories. What are you doing?
Okay, can I defend them for a second? Not the people who do all the extra unicorn swirl stuff, because I judge those people as well.
Yeah.
But coffee, because I used to work an early morning shift, because I was like you, I used to be uppity about not drinking coffee.
I remember that.
But then I had an early morning shift, and I'm like, I need something, because I gotta read the news, and I'm half asleep. But I am one of those people now that because coffee is like, I can't drink black coffee on its own. Do you guys, those black coffee drinkers? My hat's off to you.
Yeah.
So I will dump a lot of cream, not milk. Thank you. Thank you, lady in the front. And I have been judged for the amount of sugar I put in it. So I put
I don't think you like coffee then.
But I need it.
milk
But
and sugar.
I do like milk and sugar, but I need the coffee. I need a splash of coffee. So what I do, the first time I opened up all of the sugar packs and I put them individually.
How many are you
I got judged.
talking? How many? 6?
Lord.
So then now I got judged. So then what I do is I put them all together and then I rip them all at once and then I pour it in like it's just one. And I go, nobody's business what I do here. So I do that.
Okay, yeah, you like a splash of coffee with your cream. Okay, got it.
Don't talk to me till I have my fix. You substitute any other drug with that, and it's a problem.
True.
Right?
This is true. This is true. No, you're speaking.
Yeah, it's like, whoa.
I hear you.
Why do you need that?
I hear you.
Put it in my vein, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, we asked you off the top to weigh in, so let's check in with you right now. So do you judge someone? 70% of you, yes, a latte. We love you. You're judgy just like us. Okay, that's it. Okay, so take a look at this picture. Light-colored, wide-leg denim jeans, white sneakers, a form-fitting black top. Is this the new Gen Z uniform? It is. Is it? Okay. Anyway, that's what people are saying on social media. The question is, do all Gen Zers, are you all dressing the same? And can this same thing be said for previous generations?
Leave them alone.
Leave them alone.
Every generation does this. You guys remember in the 90s, we're all wearing baggy pants, baggy shirts, the Nautica shirt. I was wearing
Kangol hats.
the Kangol hats. We were wearing like the throwback jerseys. We all looked the same. We were just on different ball teams. Like,
okay, but there were trends. I know, I'm not going to deny you that. There were certainly trends, and when we were growing up, there were certain brand names that were focused on. But I feel like there's something that has shifted a slight bit. My son Jaya and I were driving by History, which is a club here in Toronto, the other day, and there was a group of women waiting for a concert, and they literally, Jaya goes to me, why is everybody wearing the exact same outfit? It was literally jeans, it was for a country music show, sparkly top and cowboy boots. And I was just like, it looked like Valley of the Dolls. Like, it was creepy. It was super creepy.
But that's a thing now, too, when you go to concerts. Like, everyone has, like, a uniform.
One thing, but you mentioned the different generations.
Yeah.
So there are a few photos that we found. One is like sort of 70s, 80s kids. Okay, like again, there's uniqueness. One's wearing a sweater, one's wearing...
And they all have on
feathered hair.
right?
Feathered hair.
80s, like 80s-ish. This is a group of people like I'll probably them all. Some similarities, but there's also some differences in there.
Their hairstyles,
and
they're all the same.
In the 90s, There's the 90s, 2000s. Again, you've got some
Y2K, that's Y2K for sure,
Y2K. Okay,
for
so
sure.
fine. I just feel like we're treading into territory where everyone's starting to look the exact same. And
But you know what it
find it
is?
too.
It's,
What?
it's the algorithm. Everyone's on social media scrolling, and you know, it used to be a Pinterest board. Now it's an Instagram or a TikTok.
Is there something disturbing about that?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we had distinct groups. We had the punk rock, you had the hip hop, you had prep, you had Valley. And I also felt like, I think this is really sad, by the way, I'm not a fan of this, because I feel like when you're growing up and you're trying to figure yourself out, you use fashion to kind of express who you are, your individuality. Your parents, or you're breaking away from your parents, you have your group of friends, there's the music you listen to, and you want to tell people who you are, and your clothing is the best way to do that. And I don't know, but in my time, if you walked around with your friends in the same outfit, you were getting beat up after school for sure. You were gonna get called names, you were gonna be made fun of. It's one thing to be in the same style like you're saying, but it's another thing for you to be wearing the same color denim and the same jacket and the same shoes. And I see it all the time, and I'm like, doesn't anybody want to break out and do their own thing? I would be worried as a parent if I had a teenager who wasn't thinking for herself and was like, this is what all my friends are wearing, so you have to buy me this. And I'm like, you don't even want to get it in a different color maybe, or express yourself? I think there's something worrying about there if you have everybody thinking like sheep. I would like to see a little bit more individuality.
Andrea, it looks better on the TikTok video when they're all dressed the same.
I gotta say that I think this is how
better.
this is the conversation that could quickly make us sound very old. I just want to say because when I was younger, the way that you show your squad and that you are assimilating with the group, which is not necessarily a bad thing, at least at certain developmental stages, is you kind of dress similarly. And I'm now 47, and when I go out with my crew, we kind of all still dress the same. I'm not gonna lie. And yes, it's a lot of skin is what we do. But what I think is there's a form of assimilation. And where I think it is a little different today is the social media aspect to it, because social media is creating monocultures, right? They're following a few key influencers, and that influencer says, this is what I wear, therefore they all wear it. So there is that which is a problematic thing. But when I tell you, we all would go to Le Chateau on a Friday, and we would buy the same hot drop at Le Chateau. Today, maybe they're buying, I don't know what the brands are.
Aritzia.
You know, sure, but there's lineups. So is it really that different?
It's not that different.
I don't know that it's that
Nelly
different.
dropped Air Force Ones. We were all wearing Air Force Ones.
But didn't you wear it differently? I also thought it was a red flag to have that friend who was like, what are you wearing? And it's like, girl, just wear what's in your closet. Like, I didn't like that. I actually stayed away, and I have the opposite. My friends, and I think we chose each other because everybody has their own thing. One girlfriend wears too much shiny eyeshadow. The other one doesn't wear makeup. I'm the one who always wearing high heels. And I like that about us. So we all bring our difference to the table, and everybody's an individual instead of like, let's dress the same.
Yeah, I dress like I'm in a girl band all day, all night with my girls. Hey, Jamar. It's my dream, my inner dream. Jamar, we love having you here. Thank you so much for coming back.
Have a cup of coffee.
Don't forget, you can actually catch Josie and Jamar weekdays from 2 to 6 p.m. on Toronto's Chum 104.5.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.